Now, we might also want to cut out some buttons here to work with on the top, and that is pretty straightforward as well. So we'll go to my top plane again, create a sketch. I'm going to create a line across the bottom, something like so. Let's create another line right across the top. It's going to separate the buttons from everything else, and I think that's probably pretty good. Actually, you know what? I don't even want the top line. Let's delete that. I'm making this up as I go, as you can tell. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to take one line that I want to go straight down the middle for sure. I'm going to make sure that that's coincident at the mid-plane there. So we're right there stuck in the middle. And then I'll take another line that goes something like so. Just like that. And one more. Goes straight here. Now, I would like for these to be symmetrical across the middle, and for that, we actually need what's called a construction line. So let's go to our line, drop down, and create a center line. I'm going to create a center line that goes right down the middle here. I'm extending it up beyond that initial line, just so that it's easy to select it, because otherwise it might get hidden underneath this other line. So I'll click that one, Control-click these other two, and I will get a new kind of constraint called Make Symmetric, because I have one center line selected. And I wouldn't have that if I hadn't selected that center line, by the way. That's an important step there. Okay, so these are representing our buttons here. Let's add another cut between these right here, and one more of them right here. And I'm not going to bother making these evenly spaced at the moment. I'm just going to drag them out. You can imagine adding dimensions and things to kind of nail these down. But we don't need to. This is going to be just fine for us. Okay, so let's exit this sketch. And again, the next step is different depending if you are using 2013 or if you have SOLIDWORKS 2012 or earlier. So let's start with, actually in this case, let's start with 2012 or earlier. Let's go to Extrude Cut. I'll choose my, my sketch here. And as you can see, it's a little bit weird by default. It's just kind of putting a plane out there. It's not cutting what I want. So the first thing is to choose Thin Feature. And then turn off direction 2. Just choose direction 1. Flip that. Oh, yeah, flip that direction. So we're going through everything. And make sure that it says through all in direction 1. And in my thin feature properties, I'm going to make that mid-plane, and I'm going to make it 0.5 millimeters. So we have a 0.5 millimeter clearance between each of our buttons. Now, under selected contours, I have one line chosen, and it's doing that. Now, in SOLIDWORKS 2012 and earlier, you have to do this one line at a time, and it's a big pain, right? So I'll just go ahead and hit OK, and it says, okay, I'm breaking this into multiple bodies. Are you sure you want to do that? And I'm like, yes. So now we have 2 separate bodies, but I have to go back and I show that sketch, and then I do Extrude Cut, and so I'll select this curve this time and go through that whole rigmarole all over again, which is not ideal, obviously. So let's look at how to do this in 2013. If I edit this feature, in 2013, I can actually select multiple contours at the same time. So I can select all of these guys at once. Oops, not that one, but this one and this one. There we go. So we get all these guys at the same time. Hit OK. It says, do you want to keep all the bodies? Yes, I do. And we get all of those buttons in one fell swoop. So if you're using 2012 or earlier, you've got some work to do. You're going to go back and do those buttons one by one. But in 2013 or later, boy, we got it easy. One feature, and we're done. And we got a lot of bodies here, but don't worry, we'll fix that in a minute.